Hey, before you enroll in SNHU, here's what I wish I knew. These lessons would have saved me a ton of stress, a bunch of time, and some energy. Okay. So, my name is Giovanni, and I am a senior at SNHU Online. My degree is in information systems, and my major is cybersecurity. So, when I started at SNHU, I had to figure out a lot of things on my own. So this is the playbook I wish that someone had really given me on day one, and the truth about like what works, what doesn't, and how to survive the pace that SNHU will put you in without you really burning out. So let me say that the workload is manageable if you stay ahead. That would probably be the first thing that I would ensure somebody knows is SNHU is smooth when you operate with structure. So if you are a person who does not appreciate structure or struggles with structure, then you need to make sure that this is the right choice for you. I say that because it becomes very stressful when you fall behind. I can speak for my sophomore and my junior year. So my sophomore year, I got really sick and I was almost 2 weeks behind in my coursework. And the way that SNHU works is you go through a different class every 8 weeks, at least in your bachelor's degree. So for me, I found myself like well, I was finishing up because it ended up happening right at the end of week 8, and I had to get all of the work in because the instructor has to turn in final grades. So I know what it's like to fall behind, but if I'm a structured person, so for me, it was quite easy for me to just get into the flow of things. So I'm telling you, stay structured, make sure that you have schedules. Those things are going to save you. So what worked for me was staying 1 week ahead. So I would always try to batch things if I could because I work 40 hours, sometimes more a week. Batching stuff is key, at least for me. Make sure that you can focus on week by week because that's really all you need to do is week by week, count out 8 weeks, get ready for your next class. So use consistent study routines. Here is mine. You can copy it. I've done it for almost now 4 years. So let me share it with you. Classes open up on Sunday. What I do is every Wednesday, I make sure that I go and check, is there a discussion post that is due on Thursday? So make sure if it is, I get it done on Wednesday, do my discussion post. Okay. I usually spread my homework out to Saturday and Sunday just because those are days where I'm not working. I work Monday through Friday. Okay. And I have an hour and a half commute one way. So I use that commute. I take a train into work and I use that commute to study. Sometimes I use that commute to just unwind. But as it reflects on SNHU, that actually helps me because if I need to get something done or if I've gotten behind for whatever reason, that gives me catch up time. Now, when you get ready to do your homework on Sunday, make sure that you pull up the rubric. Okay. So you're going to have a rubric every single week. Look at the rubric of what it is that you need to turn in. That's what they're going to grade you on. So even though I hate to say don't do Sunday night panics, there are times when that's exactly what I had to do because if I'm going on a vacation or I was on a business trip and I get home, I have had to do work at 6 o'clock at night and do it from 6 o'clock at night and have it in by 11. And most of the time, I've already looked at the work and started pre working on it on the Thursday when I do my discussion post. So just keep that part in mind. All I suggest that you do is do your assignments like they were part of your job. Okay, if they were part of your job, you would figure out what you needed to do when you needed to get it done, and nobody's coming to save you. So nobody's going to come in and make you do your homework. If you wait until Sunday to do everything, including your discussion post, one, you've already missed your Thursday deadline, so you're not going to meet that. Two, what does this prove to your instructors that you can't hit a specific deadline? How are you going to do that in a job? So that for me, staying ahead is the difference between like control and like the chaos, to be honest with you. So let's talk about like writing. Why writing matters. So you are going to do a lot of writing. And in cybersecurity, I know a lot of us think that it's all based around typing, but you do a lot of writing. So even though you may type out what you're going to do, you're going to be writing quite a bit. So make sure that you can write clearly. Okay. And if you have like grammatical problems, there are now systems in place. There's AIs that do it, there's Grammarly, there are things that you can use to help improve your writing so you don't have to let the writing be your weakness or your excuse. So if you're part of one of my crew, I don't take excuses. We find solutions to things. If you're following me, that's the way we do things. We figure out a solution that'll work for you. The clearer that you can write and convey what you have to say, that's what hiring managers care about. Make sure that you do strong projects. The projects are not for the instructor. The projects are for you. So keep in mind when you're doing something. My first year that I was there, I was just trying to make sure the projects appealed to the instructors until I realized that the instructors had nothing to do with this. This was about me, and the projects that I were doing was to apply that content to school. So take something from real life, apply it to school, see where it is. Now, understand something else. General education courses, you're going to take quite a few of them. If you're starting from high school, okay, even if you're not starting from high school, I wasn't. I was starting from military career. So I've got tons of different experiences that applied from the military. Like I said in previous videos, my background was medicine, 13 years in medicine. Coming from medicine and then switching over to IT was huge. So to make that leap, I needed to do a couple of things. So understand in SNHU, there are no throwaway classes. So as you're going through, you may think, hey, I'm just doing this writing class. Yeah, that writing class may not seem applicable until you get to a 400 level class. And now all of a sudden, what do you have? A 4-page report or a 10-page report. And you're like, well, I know how to write, or I can just have AI write it. I'm telling you now, as someone who writes and does use AI, I'm telling you, just using AI is not going to work. AI can write the paper for you. Soon as you turn that in, SNHU is going to know that you turned in a paper that was written by AI. AI is there to act as guardrails to things. It is not there to write stuff for you. You still have to put in the inputs. You still have to know what to ask for. So do not rely on just AI, ChatGPT, Claude, do not just rely on them to write your papers for you. You just simply can't. Final thing, your critical analysis skills as a IT professional is going to be honed as you go through this classwork. That is what it's intended to do. If you're not a person who likes to critically think, one, IT might not be the right field for you because you do a lot of critical thinking. We do a lot of structured reasoning, meaning that you're going to go, 1, 2, 3. A happened, caused B, caused C. That's the way that IT works. It's not A and then we skip all the way to Z. There are certain things structurally that we go through and then we reason out so that someone can follow how we got to where we are. All of these things matter in IT, but understand that what you're preparing for is, one, to have an education, because when you have an education, people are going to come to you because, hey, you're the guy with the IT degree. One. Two, you're often going to become your family's go-to person for things that have to do with IT. So most students that I have talked to throughout this process, they really do underestimate what SNHU can do for them and what SNHU is. They really don't. So they try to wing it through SNHU. And I could see in your freshman year trying to wing it if you're trying to catch up with what college is, because once you get inside of SNHU, you will understand one thing. And I learned this initially, and I'm going to pass this on to you. You will be going to school with different types of people. You will be going to school with people who are just there because they wanted to make sure that a family member knows that they're in school. There are people that are there because this was the only thing between them and jail. You will be going to school with people that work 2.5 jobs and are up and they only have 2 hours a day. So as you're going through and you're meeting these different people, understand that no one there is going to be perfect. So you're all going to come into this from different areas and different journeys. So stay in your journey and help those that you can help, but keep walking. For me, and I want to kind of just give you a system that worked for me. I take the rubric, okay? Once I write something, I take the rubric and I score it. That is what I use AI for. I take AI and I say, this is my paper that I wrote. And then I take AI and I say, hey, this is the rubric. What grade would you give me? and it'll go through it. It'll say, this is the grade based off of this rubric. Then what I do is I then say, what did I miss? And this is the key part, I think, that is going to be a lifesaver for somebody who is going through this coursework, is understanding how to use AI. And maybe I should just make a whole entire video on just using AI at SNHU and how it can be successful without you cheating and getting flagged as plagiarism. But consistency, building like reminders and templates, you know, all of this part, if you're considering going to school, that you're going to have a calendar. You're going to have to get in this weekly rhythm of turning in your work on your discussion post on Wednesdays or Thursdays, whichever you choose, by the time that they're due, and turning your stuff in by Sunday. Okay. Consistency produces results. Talent doesn't carry you, structure does. So you can get out what you put in the SNHU. I heard that when I was watching videos of people who had gone through and had graduated, and I just remember thinking to myself, I never really got a chance to see what that person did in their coursework. All I got a chance to do was see them put one video out that says, this is what I think of SNHU. Well, how do I know you went to SNHU? How do I know that you did something? I didn't get a chance to see you get up to that point. That's the reason why I created all of these videos that I've been doing, is because I wanted, one, credibility that, hey, I've done the work, so I'm telling you that it can be done, and I often share how that's done. So SNHU is not a shortcut. It is a platform, as I said in my previous videos. If you approach it with discipline, you will grow. I have, and I did not think that I would. You will advance. You'll gain real clarity, okay, and you'll build your confidence. Confidence comes from you doing the work, just being honest. If you coast, okay, you'll get surface level results. SNHU reflects your effort back to you. So I can't tell you anything different than that. That's with anything. What you put into it, you're going to get out. But if you're thinking about SNHU and about enrolling in that SNHU, stay close. Okay, go ahead. Hit the subscribe button. I'm documenting my process and churning out these videos, making sure a lot of this, and churning out the podcast and putting this out in case for some reason this is long form intentionally, because there's going to be people that want to put this on in the background, sit down and listen to it while they're working. And that's what this is for. So there may be something here that catches your eye or catches your ear that you're like, I want to ask that guy a question about this. Go ahead and put it in the comment section, okay? I do get back to my comments. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.